All right, guys, welcome. We're gonna get the meeting started. All right, so tonight we do have another joint meeting as we did last year, late last year, of both the planning board as well as the historic preservation board. So what we're gonna do, first I'm gonna start the meeting is we'll call a attendance for both boards. After that, I'll just kind of call for the minutes approval for my board, and then we'll actually jump after that into actually part 2A. No, sorry, just kidding. I think the agenda changed since it was printed. 3A. I think this is different from what was.
So we had, just to let everybody know in case you didn't see the email, early this afternoon, we had a request from 34 State Street to adjourn until February.
Yeah.
So the good news is we're here. The also good news is we'll see everyone in the same configuration back in February.
Right, fair enough.
It's
actually 3
February.
Pardon me?
What dates will that be?
I believe the 26th.
online.
Okay, the 26th,
Hold on just one moment. Nope, 24th.
24th.
Is that right, Jamie? You know?
Yes, the 24th, that is correct.
24th. Okay. Hello. That's right there.
Steve, over here.
All right, so let's start off with attendance.
Okay. So poll roll for the planning board, Michael Aronson.
Sorry.
Here. Eric Talbot,
Here.
Holly Thurston, Carla Elliott. Here. And Chair Roy.
And here, and I guess what we're missing right now, alternate member Richard Klein, alternate member Pamela Nelson, and board member Phil Morea, and Angelica, sorry. Okay, and then I guess we can move on to Dan's board.
Okay, so for HPC, Jason Sia. Here. Michael Bavavino. Here. Stephen Casey.
Here.
Ethan Alford.
Here.
And Chair Gorboy.
Here.
Okay, go.
Great. And for the planning board, just before we get started, can I have as long as everyone's reviewed the minutes, motion to approve the minutes from our November 25th meeting. I think everybody that's here was at that meeting, so to begin.
Michael Aronson, motion to approve the minutes from the November 25th meeting.
Cornelia, second the motion.
All right, and of those members, any objections? There are none. That passes. Okay, so I can move over to this agenda. Again, I think what I'm working off is printed is slightly different from what was online. So, but we are going to start today with
Read B.
read B on this agenda.
Yeah.
It's actually 2A on the posted agenda online, but either way, it's planning board 04/2025 BAR 13/2025, and this is 209 to 211 Main Street. And this is a application for a site plan conditional use payment in lieu of parking and VAR approvals. And tonight we'll be focusing, amongst other things, on VAR and also a PC of review of the proposed project. So applicants here, you can introduce yourself. I think what we'll do is maybe pull up the updated renderings and elevations, and then we can talk.
Okay, go.
Chairman Roy, members of both boards, good evening.
Hello.
Not too late, happy noon. It's too late. It's too late. Robert Stanziale, the architect for the project here.
Is this the correct one or is there a different one? Your face indicates
that's
that it's not the correct.
Yeah, no, I see. See.
That's the 1.8 renderings then? Okay.
Yeah, so we had updated, based on, last week, last month, or 2 months ago, I guess, right? That was back in November. Just added a little more depth to our renderings. I added some signage on there. A couple of things we also did, we added the transoms to the storefront windows up above us, because we do agree that the storefront windows are very high. They're 8 feet tall in some places on the lower end of the building. So we added a transom line there. I don't know if you can pick that up. And we also made the double hung windows 4 on 1, just to break those up a little bit also. Hopefully we articulated that a little bit better. There was, I don't know if I didn't see it, probably didn't show up on the agenda, but I don't know if you saw it in your package. We had a little movie, a little flyover.
Yeah.
Those staff forwarded that to all the members.
Yeah, okay, good.
You want to play it at the moment, or maybe if you mention it?
Yeah, Jamie, are you able to screen
I
share?
have it on Zip it, you can flip.
not, those are verboten,
All right.
Oh,
yeah.
For me, it's not so critical, but, you know, certainly these are wonderful, and it didn't show the west facade or driving down, going south, but maybe, I think now you have views anywhere we want to ask you to show views.
right,
Great.
right.
Jamie, are you able to pull that up and share screen? I am not.
I'm not right now either. I'm on my iPad.
I can look at Maddie, if you give me a minute, I can pull it up.
Okay.
Just let me find it.
Is there anything else that we can tap dance with here that you want?
Yeah, I have added lighting on here, and I was just hoping for some direction on that, perhaps if you have a source that you think we should look to for something historic or not so historic. I was thinking on the sign lighting, actually, I was thinking that it is a little bit of the band that's over the lighting, that's sort of an 8-inch fascia. You know, we could accommodate some very small LED.
I just got it if you want. Yeah.
Very small downlights onto the lighting, and that would be enough really to illuminate the signage rather than putting gooseneck lights or something.
Okay. I have it. I'm going to share it.
Okay.
Can everyone see?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Valerie, coming through in the clutch.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Nothing much else changed on the building itself architecturally, other than just digging up those few comments we had from last.
What's the cornice made of again? I forgot what you had on your. The
The
dentals and the cornice and, you know.
Yeah, they're all AZEK.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
They're not
Yes.
matte finish of some kind.
But the cap, the center portion itself, and the cornice way up top, and also the window lintels are a Hayden Stone product. You familiar with that? It's sort of I have a sample here, small sample of the material itself. So,
Oh,
Since this board just mentioned the cornice, I just want you to be aware, I think there was a discussion at the last meeting, whether the semicircular cornice was a more of interest to the board versus the cornice that's here now. And I know the applicant mentioned that the State Historic Preservation Office noted that they did not like the semicircular cornice. But just to let you know, I looked at the letter from the state, and it was just a recommendation. It was not necessarily required. So technically, this board has, can weigh in on either one of those designs.
thank you. Are the lintels above the windows, are they the same material?
yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
Yes, lintels and sills are the same material, correct?
But the dental work, you know, those vertical, you know, I guess I'll call them dentals.
Right.
Those vertical, brackets, yeah. And the cornice itself, those though are as that, they're not gonna be the same material?
The brackets themselves they're a polymer product. They're an AZEK product.
Yeah.
They're AZEK, yes, they are.
So will they have a different sheen and, color?
No, I mean, it's all gonna be ultimately painted to match. So,
Oh, you're gonna.
except the Hayden stone, obviously the stone is the stone.
Right, so when they paint
Yeah.
when they paint the stuff, it's gonna, well, obviously you're gonna try to match the stone.
Correct,
Um,
right. Because there's also flat AZEK panels behind that, so, that'll all have to be joined in and patched and repaired, everything has to be painted. So, yeah.
And what is the coping material at the top of the cornice? You can see a little like a fade.
It's copper.
Copper.
Yeah, and also above the sign, the little overhang for a sign, there's also a copper overhang on there. Down below.
And what size brick?
It's a standard brick, it's a full brick in here.
Is it,
Something in that,
Is it, okay, that was my
Is it
next question.
sand?
Yeah, in your brick.
I'm sorry,
is it sand cast?
Glenberry brick.
Well, no, but
Yeah.
that looks almost maybe, it's not extruded with a, or it looks like it's almost same cast.
It'll be a
What
full
do you
frame, it's
think?
not a veneer.
It feels that way. It's,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm all for sand kit. If people
Maddie,
are
can you
wondering what
pull
I'm
up the
talking about,
floor
that's
plans?
the old type of brick technology.
right,
You
right,
put it in sand, you put the clay in and it picks up the granulation.
correct.
A lot of times you'll see modern brick, especially when it's near the ground, that's been extruded like
Right.
taffy. And that doesn't have that same texture.
Yeah, we're looking for that texture on there. Yep,
So I'm all for that.
right.
I don't pity. Well, that's good to know.
Well, before the snowstorm, I was taking a drive. And I noticed that the Midas building has windows on, I believe, this side.
Correct. Yeah, that's where we're staying away from.
Okay, you're staying away from.
Yeah, 6 feet away from,
Okay.
at least our property line and then whatever they have
Yeah.
on their side, yes.
Do you know if I'm just curious, do you know whether the buildings that had been there met, it's not something you're changing, but met the corner of the building to the north? In other words, it was an uninterrupted move
Continuous facade.
facade
Yeah.
instead of a break? I'm just curious.
It did meet it. It was not, we have some of the historic photos from the other presentation.
Huh?
It did meet it, was not level with it, if that's what you're.
I think it's
I
not
think it
getting
was the same
playing
height.
in and
The
out.
plane,
Oh, it was
yeah.
flush with it though, yes.
Yeah.
Pardon?
It was flush with it on the.
It was
on the
flush.
side, yes,
I
it was,
guess
yes.
maybe then I'll just
Yeah.
want to ask if it's, I guess you're standing proud of it and making it set back because it just gives you more space.
We're just slightly proud of it. Actually, our property line extends out well into the sidewalk, not that we necessarily are trying to.
So it's as of right for you to do that.
well, actually, but it's not. If you look in that photo, the existing Midas building,
Oh, yeah,
it
there
looks
it
like
is.
the other one had it. There was a return.
Yeah, there is. I
Yes,
can see
yeah.
it. So that's,
Sorry, the north side.
no, so that's consistent. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I never realized that.
No, we only got window on the side too.
Yeah.
Do we see the western elevation? Proposed west elevation in your Revit model?
In the which you,
Well,
the
the,
flyover?
Yeah.
no,
No.
I think the applicant knows what I'm saying.
Yeah, it should be, let me go back to that index.
I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name.
Bob Stancy.
Bob,
Yes,
that's right. Call you Bob.
as in Bob's 5 and 10 cents.
I was gonna say, is that your story?
Nothing like a 5 and 10.
So you already know your next career. is that what you're saying?
Exactly right, it was. There we go. These are just this is the other material for the, sort of a
Yeah,
precast
there, I think you just.
material on the
right.
bottom, and this would be the black storefront material as well. for the-
Left side's, sorry, Bob, left side's the west elevation? I think so.
Yes, it is, yes, yes. Mhm.
And, okay. It's all the same material. And the rear is your south elevate, the rear is kind of a,
That's real west than anything.
pardon?
I think the rear is more west than anything.
More
The
west.
rear is
Yeah.
more west, yeah, that's why I get confused with left instead of.
Yeah, I should have,
The left side is probably a little more north.
What's this material for?
that material is for the bulkhead on the front elevation.
That is gonna get, that the other paint is gonna match? That the paint will be painted to the match?
No, that's gonna be down below.
Oh, it's the water paint.
Yeah, below the
water
storefront,
course.
right, correct, yeah.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
yeah.
This does not get paint.
No, it does not, no, that's,
Oh.
So this is facing the community center, right, Bob?
yes, it is,
And this is facing the municipal lot.
correct,
Oh.
right, yeah.
And so the gray base at the bottom of the rear, is that what this material
That'll be
is?
that same material there, is correct.
So
Shows- shows
the only
gray.
issue is that it's a little off in the color.
Correct, yes.
I see.
Yep.
So it's gonna be a little different.
Yeah, I
And,
think that beige color matches the brick a little bit better. I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, oh, sorry. It's that long. Is there, like soldier coursing or something at the above the garage, at the coursing of the brick change? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it does.
Yes, there's a double soldier course there. yeah.
Ah. Okay.
What is this?
That's the storefront material.
Oh, the storefront, okay.
Yeah, mhm.
The frame.
Yep.
Got it.
And for those blanked out windows, which I think is a change from the last time, which I really, I love the idea.
Well, this is the older.
that is the older one?
That is the older one,
Yeah.
yeah, it's, yeah.
So that's gonna be four by over
We
four.
eliminated the reveals on the side as well.
That's what, yeah, that's where I was
Right,
going with.
right,
And
yeah,
are you,
yeah.
it will be recessed though, right?
That's
And we
correct.
just use like a corner brick, 'cause you're using the veneer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Thank you.
right, yeah. And again, we thought of making the color inside slightly different, but I don't know if that was too contrived to make it look like it was.
I don't think you need to do
No.
that.
This is the newest version.
That's correct, yes.
So all the
Just a
windows
look.
will be 4/4 at the top.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, that makes it nice.
Yeah, the lower windows, because we have a high ceiling space, it's about 14 feet high on the first floor, so it's more like studio windows in that space.
Well, the top panel would be fixed, then it'll be a double hung below.
Correct, yes. And again, that'll be glass garage doors.
Okay, and are there any other elevations to see? I think not, right? That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the left and right are very similar. They're both. You should have the right.
There's
it
one.
there, yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Right side. So that is, yeah, looking into the light well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and we get the 4x4 too. And can we, the front elevation, Bob,
Mhm.
does that have any change in coursing like the soldier courses or anything, or is that all running bond? It's just common
There's
bond?
soldier coursing in there, yeah.
Oh, there is, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, between the second and third windows and then just above the sign band.
Yeah.
It's a double soldier course in there.
I feel like I see some shadow lines both on those columns and maybe even on
Yeah.
those soldier courses. Are you creating any depth there, or is that just?
Yes, we're gonna have a little reveal there on the brick, so we have a little shadow line.
You're saying, but wait a minute, I'm not sure I understood. Are you saying? Oh, there, I thought you were saying something below the soldier coursing.
I was asking about the soldier coursing as
Oh.
well. Definitely those piers seem to be
Yeah, we
articulated.
intend to have a little reveal with the soldier course as well, just to give a little shadow line below it.
So how are you gonna build that out? Cause I mean, the veneer brick kind of limits.
Yeah, they'll just build it out with grout, so just to.
Well, I'm sorry, I think I lost track.
Mhm.
All the brick's gonna be just, it's gonna be 4-inch brick or?
Correct.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
thought when you said veneer, we're talking about.
I'm
You're
saying,
using a full.
I'm saying veneer, it's gonna be veneer over, a stud wall.
Okay,
No,
I
no,
was,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I
it's
was,
real
I was
brick.
questioning that. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
wondering
right,
too.
yes,
Okay, got
yeah.
it.
Not the thin brick.
Right, not the
No, not.
tile,
Yeah,
we're not
yes.
doing tile.
Correct.
Yeah.
Are you gonna recreate the header courses to make it,
Yes,
you'll have like a header course every, whatever, six courses?
Wait a minute, tell me where you just.
That's a question, and
Well, the bricks turn 90, in.
yeah, just to make it, I mean, I know you're gonna, they'd be snapped.
Yeah.
Because you can't actually build, it's not a multi-white wall, but.
Yeah.
Might help to blend it into the block a little bit nicer.
yeah,
That
could work, sure.
where is this stuff that you're talking about?
I'm just talking about as they're coursing the brick.
Yeah. You don't just want a common bond, you want like, stretchers, is that what you're saying?
Not stretchers, just headers. I'm asking the
Like
question.
the old school brick ties.
Yeah.
They turn the brick and it goes into.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
the
why
tide
it's
is
stretcher from one
Right.
light to the next.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it turns 90 degrees, so,
Yeah,
but that's not, or is it contemplated on this drawing?
No, it is not.
Just all common bond.
yeah, no, it's just, I feel like with the, when you're kind of building a cavity or veneer system, it kind of makes it look a little bit more like a multi-white wall.
Oh.
That's more your guys' department. I'm just,
Well, I appreciate the fact that, you got soldier coursing in there, you've shown us some depth,
Yeah.
like what was inferred from your first presentation. And, 4/4, that's nice, and, the only thing that's a little misleading, I assume if there isn't, next time we look at the final drawings, it'll show the beige for the water course, or the base, yeah, just to make it a matter of record.
Right.
And, did you have something on the pediment above the entry? Is that where you originally had the number 211 or anything else, or clock?
I
or
think
something?
you had a clock
And
and
clocks
a
originally.
bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah,
That's not something you wanna there anymore.
no.
Yeah, all right.
I think it's a little more elegant,
Little
as simple
Yeah.
as it is.
As it is, you said, Jason?
As he has it shown here.
I agree.
Yeah.
Not
And
too much
even
crust.
even those lintels, the flat lintels, I think work better.
Yeah.
And the ones that Keystone ones, yeah.
Like the
Oh.
Keystone.
Keystone, too.
I like the Keystone
You
from
did,
the
okay.
previous, but I don't feel strongly about it, but.
Yeah, I like the rectangular thing. And to your point about, question about the lighting, I mean, LEDs inside the upper band, you know, facing down, I think could be nice. I don't see an issue with that. I don't know if anybody else has an opinion.
Versus doing some sort of surface mount.
Gooseneck or something like that. Yeah, I'd rather see that, you know, if you can make it work.
Yeah, I think it'll be enough. You know, I'm just thinking something surface mounted, perhaps around the center entrance on the
Right,
wall there.
right.
Like on these two pilasters here.
Yes, correct.
Here,
Yeah.
here.
The only other thing I gotta ask you though, is there ever a contemplation that you would have two separate retail entrances because maybe you don't get a tenant that large? Bob's, no offense to you, but you're building something to take off the way you thought.
Oh, it's 5 and 10 and Bob. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes we see that happen, not that I imagine, I mean, I can see why it's only one entrance and hopefully it stays that way, but do you imagine,
Right.
if you go to the plan,
Mhm.
I guess it would be easy to have that be a shared door and
Yeah, I
then
think
you
it's
walk
wide
into the
enough that we
vestibule.
could separate the doors.
Ah, so a single door for each store.
Correct, yes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we could, it's a good consideration that we could actually widen it up a little bit, so.
Yeah, could you just bring the draw? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I guess you could do something like that. Yeah.
We're on the wrong side.
I mean, it's only a 1,500 square foot space, so, but I mean, it could still be two tenants, but it
Because
doesn't.
that happens sometimes and then it screws everything up. So, that would be, yeah, I mean, that's a nice thing to have in your back. I mean, at least for me to know you've got in your back pocket.
Yep,
Okay.
it's a good idea.
So I'm sorry, the entry to the residential units is not that center entryway?
No, it's not.
Oh,
It's
so
off to the side.
that
Correct.
clears up my confusion about the
Right,
commercial
yeah.
space. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
You want to see it where it is, Michael? It's down, yeah. right.
Yeah, no, I wasn't sure whether the center entryway was also access to apartments. Because then that divides
Yeah.
up the commercial space in a weird way that I couldn't figure out how they could be all in one box.
Right. For one box.
So actually,
So,
this side view is not exactly accurate, right? Because you're showing grayed out all the way to the street line, but there is a return wall. Based on the other end.
Yes, there is, correct, yes.
I'm sorry, Seth, I was writing something down. What was
I
your
just,
comment?
this right side elevation is
Oh.
not totally accurate
Yeah.
because it doesn't show that.
Right,
return wall that we were
right.
talking about earlier.
Right,
Yes,
right.
that's right.
Yeah, that would be
You gotta
good.
correct that.
You could
Yep.
put that, you could redraw that, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
could add that in easily.
Yes.
That wall is actually kind of important.
Mhm. Couldn't put a window there. but
Yeah, I don't know that you want to either.
No,
Oh, I see.
yeah, we need to show that there.
Other thoughts and comments, guys? I mean, I think this is a huge improvement.
Yep.
Yeah. The lettering, by the way, that would be, do we have an opinion or did you have an opinion about what kind of lettering? Could be any color or would be only one color for your Bob store?
Bob, it should be black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a little, it's like something else, but I guess
Like
that,
a-
that,
like a-
is that significant to you one way or the other? I
No.
guess?
We're gonna have to
No.
come back to it.
It'd be a dark color. I think maybe have it as a dark brown or dramatic or something, but it should
Okay,
be black.
okay. Yeah, I have no other comments. I think it's,
Looks nice.
it'll be a very nice
Thank you very
addition.
much.
It's always been a shame we had that big vacant
Right.
area. Now this will be a nice infill.
Yeah.
And so rental apartments above and then the retail below.
Did you figure out the parking?
No.
That's a great segue.
Ah,
About that.
I like it, right? Not my issue.
Yeah, so actually on that note, I think like we should talk about, I know that at this point, we're looking at, I think it was a 17 spot
Yeah, definitely.
payment in lieu that you're now requesting. And I guess I think, planning board members, I think kind of delving into this a little bit, that's created, maybe, yeah, if we zone in on those calculations, actually, Maddie, it's right there. at the
Okay,
top.
okay.
Yeah, So I think a lot of what's driving this is the residential, is the amount of right, we're a lot, this would be a conditional use of residential on the ground floor. Plus, and that's adding, that's adding a lot of units. I think the number of the mix of 2 bedrooms, 1 bedrooms, are all kind of adding up. I think that you're at 29 spaces for residential alone, 5 for commercial. I think one of the things that we as a board should be talking about is kind of what would be kind of given the site, given the fact that there's a request for conditional use on the ground floor. And I think the comment about the fact that the commercial space is only, I think it says there, right, it's 1,500 square feet of commercial space in this giant building. And just looking site plan in general, right? I think that we've been consistent in terms of trying to encourage maximizing the amount of commercial space, interfacing with the sidewalks in our village, especially right here. That maybe there's 2 connected problems here, which is this really, really big ask for parking. And this, that just putting that first floor plan, I think, right, if you were to color code that commercial versus residential, it's right, it's like 80% residential and 20% commercial, probably right spot on there. So,
Oh, if you're a customer, you can use the garage?
I guess they're required to provide, so this is not determined. They are required to provide
I'm just curious.
per code 34 spots for this project. 5 of those, based on those calculations, would be dedicated. So yes, they are required to provide that. They're asking effectively for an alternate way of providing that parking, which the village allows for. It's a payment in lieu, which would have to be reviewed and approved by the board of trustees, not even by this board. And I think what we're looking at right now is kind of what would be a more reasonable kind of request of the board of trustees. And I think, I think, and again, just a reminder to the board, originally there were the elevator parking spots, so that the request was not 17 last time we saw it, it was like 5 or 6. And I think I'd like to know and talk about how that request could be significantly reduced. We know that you can't, or you might not, maybe you can add 1 or 2 spots. Maybe there's a way of jiggering that. I know it's a really challenging site, but in terms, programmatically in the use, especially at the ground floor, combining those 2 issues to come up with a more reasonable balance of commercial, residential, and thus a more reasonable kind of parking impact.
Well, we did look at also trying to cut back requirement for parking in changing this, similar to what we did originally. We had original plan with a lot more studio apartments on this. So we went back, sorted to the same plan. And we had cut back a couple of apartments. We had 8, I should have brought it with me, but I didn't. But anyway, there were 8 studio apartments, 4 1-bedroom apartments, I think 2 2-bedrooms. And we still only cut down the parking requirement by 4 spaces. But it was keeping the commercial at the same amount. So it wasn't significant, and we're still asking for 13 spaces. That's still a lot. We realize that. So other than scaling the building down, I don't know what else we can do. If there's anything else we can work this out. But what you're saying, Mr. Chairman, is that perhaps would you rather see more commercial here, 2 on the ground floor? I mean, that only adds more parking requirements to this rather than, I mean, if we take away apartments, add more commercial, that's more parking overall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that works out as you start putting that together, but
because the ratio between the parking, it's 1 per 350 for retail space,
right,
as opposed to a space and a half for a 800 square foot or 900 square foot 1-bedroom apartment. So it's
There's no way of going down and doing some sort of Texas donut kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I mean, we're willing to take a look at it because we really want this project to happen somehow, and I think people will like it as well. So it's
I think
another
having
way
some
we
sort
can,
of a traffic, and specifically parking traffic impact,
right,
and understanding and analysis of how, if depending on what the ultimate ask is, regardless of the ultimate ask,
right,
what how would those spots be accomplished
Right.
You know, if you're at, you know, the current ask is 17, where are those 17 cars going? Where are they going during the day? When are they going at night? When are they gonna be most in need?
Sure.
You know, what spots, how many spots in that space are in the basement are designated to what units? Actually, you know, to the question that was just asked a minute ago.
Yeah.
So I think that these are all really wide open and you know, I don't know that we're in a position to go to the Board of Trustees and say, hey, this is the request until we have a lot more information.
Right.
And I do think some thought into reducing what that ask is, because I think it's pretty
Sure.
significant right now.
No, I get it, believe me. We're here for, whatever help you can give us, certainly.
This backs onto that parking lot in the back,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
And then that is required for the rec center, or is it allocated to something else?
No, it's municipal parking. Right now, it's a mix of municipal permit spaces and 3-hour parking.
Right, but that's like an important part of this project. So the only access to that parking is through that municipal right of way.
exactly.
Right,
And not just for the cars, but also for utilities and there's, you know, everything's
Yeah.
gonna be running through there, I think, to Broadway, right? This
Mhm.
is kind of how everything goes here.
So perhaps, a parking study to see, check some usage requirements, usage and analysis of when parking spaces might be used or utilized or required by this building.
Yeah.
And the functions.
Yeah.
And another look at how we might be able to, just reduce the apartment a little bit. So,
Correct.
okay, gotcha.
Other thoughts and
What do I need
comments
to do? Yep.
from, I guess, really from either board right now, but.
I don't have any more, but I don't know, anybody else on HPC does, love to hear them.
As far as look, I think it looks nice. I think it's gonna work well.
Thank you.
Eric,
I have a comment. Yeah, I think, your changes, since November and your design overall has looked very good from the beginning and those changes are great. I was thinking about the retail versus, residential and I think anybody who is, of a certain age knows that we need housing of all types and that this is an infill project. So I know that parking is like a balance and that if you rely on street parking, that's challenging without a driveway. I'm lucky I have a driveway. So I know that this is can be like the third rail of like sometimes of planning politics, especially around development, but I think there's a strong case to be made for, that this is in a place that actually is transit oriented, that you're close to the train station, that there is arguably a reason that people who are going to be commuters could be, attracted to a place like this because it is walkable. I see things happening in the downtown, so I think it is exciting to see this project's, kind of bubbling up, but I do think it will create some challenges around parking and we're all very, we all use cars, but that this is a good project. Excited to see it.
I was gonna say, are we also considering a large transit parking hub?
Yes. So actually, if you're standing, I'm trying to think without having to navigate the Google map. If you're standing at the back of the building where you would enter from the municipal parking lot, and look to your left, the next village parcel over, which is currently a surface parking lot that has 63 parking spaces in it, is under construction currently to have 242 parking spaces. In fairness, though, we're eliminating the surface lots on the other side of Main Street, so it's sort of like we can't triple, quadruple count because we are removing some in order to get more. But another thing that just, piques my interest that, member Talbot was talking about was the proximity to the Sing Sing Hill Greenway. I'm not sure if everybody has had the opportunity, but if you're a commuter, that's a lovely way to get to the train station.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, it's quick, it's direct, and that's, 50 feet away from this building, so.
Right, will be even more direct when the Water Street project is complete.
Exactly right.
By the way, I tried to find the building design on the website for Ossining. Is the design of the parking facility on the website at all?
Mhm.
Oh, do you remember where?
I can send it around to
Oh,
the
great.
school
I'd
after the
just be
meeting.
curious.
Yes, of course.
I just wanted to echo what Eric said, and I mean, this might not be the most popular thing to say, but I am a little concerned about increasing commercial space in this project because there are a number of spots in downtown Ossining that, I mean, I don't know what the future plans are in terms of renting them up, but some significant, Shine Salon, Melitas, which were really major anchors for downtown Ossining, are no longer there. So I do have some concerns about, how would you, market and fill this commercial space? And if expanding it doesn't really save you that much in terms of the parking calculation. So I just kind of want to put that out there.
I think that's a very good observation. Yeah.
Yeah, retail is, not what it used to. be.
1,500 square feet is a decent size.
Yeah, it's a nice,
You
spot,
know, floor plan for somebody to
a little 50 of food service, operation.
You could always use another nail salon, I guess.
Pizza place.
Nail salons pay taxes, so.
So
You know,
here's the project.
Yeah.
Here's the municipal lot. Here's the old Croton Aqueduct.
Wow.
Here is the Sing Sing Kill Greenway, and you follow that all the way down along Central Avenue, and it drops you off eventually here.
You still have to climb the hill going back up.
Yeah.
E-bikes. That's what we have e-bikes for.
Matt, you mentioned some parking that will have to be eliminated because of the new parking garage. So which sites are we
Yeah,
talking about?
so
Oh, Market Square.
yes, so the, where am I? Okay, so the post office, these are owned by the post office. I think it's 15 spaces on, just outside the lobby of the post office. This lot here, and this lot here are going to be largely, taken over by development, which will have parking on site for the
Right.
people who are living there. And then Market Square, another DRI project, is contemplated to sort of expand the Market Square part and get rid of the parking part.
Oh, okay.
So this is 25 spaces over on this side that probably will all be going. But they're moving here. So instead of it being the surface parking lot, it will be 4 stories of permit and pay by the hour parking.
Great, thank you.
Been a long
And then
time coming, right? That project?
Here we are again.
Yeah,
See?
right
So
there.
that's that, and that's the site we're talking about here.
So is there a way for them to finagle some sort of those spots? Or?
That's gonna be for the Board of Trustees to
Yeah.
hash out. Yeah.
and I think the bottom line is coming up, and I appreciate both of these comments, and if these buildings hadn't burned down whenever they did, right, this was a very different meeting, right? This is kind of existing building, so, it's not just an infill site, it's kind of the site of several historic properties that have been sitting here vacant, so, yeah, I mean, certainly to try to reactivate this part of the village, plus we haven't talked about the traffic diet, right, which this is kind of like the first, that first portion just north of the light, that's, I believe it is, right, that's impacted by that, I guess it's not, no, it's right before.
It's square in the middle, but I think what we had talked about at the last meeting, I'm not sure, if you've had a chance to reach out to the village engineer. But one of the bump outs in the plan is contemplated to be like right around here, so you're narrowing the distance between, for pedestrian and traffic safety.
Right.
But also an opportunity for perhaps outdoor dining or sort of some benches or outdoor recreation, so that's pretty square in front of the site here.
Parking, No.
Pardon me?
parking.
Parking all along, as part of the road diet.
Right, but north here, on Route 9, north of
Yeah.
this site, which is not irrelevant to
Right,
this project
no, it's a
at
good
all.
point. But this place in particular, I think is gonna be fattened up, so I think that affects the
Yeah.
frontage of this.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
One thing with the additional housing that's going in, that may alleviate some of the concerns. I mean, I agree with your concern about, let's not have an empty retail space in town, but that additional housing may cause a need for
And, yeah,
retail, and maybe even restaurants and things like
Yeah,
that. So
that would be great.
that might, it would be.
Perfect spot.
Mhm.
Great, yeah.
Just, admit, we need to make sure we're opening up a public hearing on this application. The planning board's end, so can I have a planning board member, motion to reopen the public hearing on the application?
Person, I make the motion to open the public hearing. Probably be a second motion.
All right, any objections to that, or none, we're not in a public hearing, I'm just gonna ask, is there anybody here to speak to this application? We don't see anybody, is there anybody on Zoom? other than trustee White? I don't see any hands going up. So can I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing on the application?
Michael Aronson, motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Talbot, second.
All right, any objections to that? I don't see any. I want to make sure, both Valerie and Tony, if you guys have anything that you guys have emphasized in your memos that we haven't yet discussed that you think we should be talking about.
Okay, just a couple of things. In terms of process, this board can declare themselves lead agency tonight. The 30 days have passed. So there's that I'd like the board to do. And then the other thing I just want to kind of note, I mean, we had comments still dealing with the site plan, dealing with, you know, some additional information associated with lighting, and also like trash and how trash will be maneuvered within the garage. And then, you know, I know that Tony will talk a little bit about some of the stuff dealing with the geotech stuff that has come back. But we do need this to potentially go back to the village board, which we talked about, to get their kind of like review of the plans as proposed at this point, not only for the payment in lieu of parking, but also because of the fact that the utility design, as well as the access way and some of the tree removal, all is going to be associated with village-owned property. So we didn't want to do that until this board is comfortable with the plans as is. And if you are comfortable with the plans as presented, then we can let the village board know that, and then to have them start looking at those other elements.
I think one of the things we were just talking about from at least, you know, I think to me, the critical site plan item will ultimately be the parking issue. Is having just a little bit more color in a parking study, which might give us a little bit more of a sense of where cars are gonna be moving as a result of this. That would, I think, put us in a more comfortable position forwarding this over to the Board of Trustees. I mean, I don't know what the timeline is in terms of getting something like that back to us. I don't know if that's something we could see next month or. Yeah.
Right. And also, I just want to note that the village's zoning also allows for shared parking. So uses that, you know, with the residential use versus the commercial use, there could be shared parking that the applicant could also put forward as well.
And that would be part of that.
Right, analysis, yeah.
Yeah.
And HPC will be with the planning board next month at this time.
Right.
So if at all possible, it would be great.
Yeah, to kind of wrap this up. Sure. Tony?
Yeah, you know, a lot of our stuff is hinging on, I guess, the layouts because it doesn't appear, you know, our comments have been addressed in regards to, you know, the DOT, some of the stuff in the right of way, utilities, stormwater. I think you guys were out there doing some testing for stormwater. So I would just say once we lock down a layout, start hammering through those comments.
All right. I mean, I think that there's enough there. Do you have any other questions for any of us?
No, again, appreciate your help trying to get this project through, and I think it's a good idea to have a traffic analysis and a parking analysis before you send it to the village board. Makes a lot of sense.
Austin?
Yep.
No other questions. Can I have a motion? I don't know, because it's
May I?
both. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think from HBC's point of view, I didn't hear anything to the contrary, but speak up, other members, if you wish to. We have our next meeting Monday, right?
Sure do.
And that's when we have to we can officially vote. We can't vote on the project here.
That is correct.
So Monday is our next opportunity to vote on it. I'm fine with the project being voted on Monday. I think there's been unanimous approval. The only thing I would just ask is that maybe the drawings get revised, maybe add notes about the recessed LED lights. And I think you have a material list on your drawing.
I have, yeah, but I'll double check and make sure it specifically.
Yeah, like with the sand cast brick. And then also if you could just change the rendering to show the beige for the base. I don't think we had any other issues to ask you to do.
I think we just had the one north elevation
what,
the return wall.
oh yeah, add the return wall, thank you, yes, and just add the return wall to it. And then if we have that in by, I guess, electronically, I'm not sure the applicant has to be there, but there should the applicant be there. If we're voting on it, yeah, I guess you'll have to be there, Bob, maybe in one way or the other.
You can be here virtually too.
Okay.
And I think we
That's right.
confirmed we're having a quorum, right? Have
think so.
people confirmed? they
It,
have
it
a quorum?
appears that way, but we got another winter storm coming on Sunday, so I
Yes.
don't wanna overpromise.
The only thing I could
Yeah.
ask maybe is that you, maybe if you could just send out another note, just reminding people now that we have this to vote on, because it wasn't on the agenda,
Mhm.
because we didn't know.
Right.
So that'll be another impetus for everyone to show up. Can all of you show up?
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll have a forum for you.
Okay.
All
Is that
right.
here, Mr. Chairman?
Pardon?
Is that here, in this location?
Yes, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Awesome.
I don't think
channel.
I don't think HPC has any other input. And
Awesome.
That's how we're gonna be operating.
Appreciate it.
That sounds good. And just as I guess the planning board does have that one action to take, which is we can, as Valerie noted, declare a lead agency tonight. So can I have a motion from the board to declare ourselves lead agency for secret?
Michael Aaron's a motion to declare ourselves lead agency for seeker on this item.
Holly person, second motion.
And any objections to that? I don't see any. All right, so that carries. So, okay, so I guess we're good. I'll can I have just like it's a motion to adjourn the application.
Eric Talbot, I motion to adjourn the application.
Maybe a second motion.
All right, any objections? We're good. Thank you very much. All right, I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you again. So I think we're done here.
Yeah, I think the is done. Yeah, totally welcome to hang out. We'll see you Monday and have dinner.
Live your life.
Night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, one thing.
Yeah.
So Jamie, the expert, just notified me that this has not been on the HPC's individual agenda yet. So we may have to talk about whether February 2nd is the date that we can vote. So just stay tuned. Okay. Thank you, Jamie, for keeping us honest.
Great. Okay, so we're gonna jump ahead here, guys. I think we're going like reverse order from whatever I have on paper here, but we have the AR 25/2025, which is 5-7 Hill Street, which is a new single family house. A 2-family house, sorry. And we have the applicant here, so you just introduce yourself, and what we'll do is if we can, Maddie, put up the updated elevations, and we'll have a conversation.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Norm Yansa with Westchester Brunswick Construction. And this is our second architectural review for this property at 5-7 Hill Street in the village of Ossining. So the last architectural review on November 25th, the board asked for the following changes: to add a door to the street side of the building so that it mimics or looks more in line or in tune with the neighborhood. And that was all that was asked of us. So I did a very simple little elevation there on the left, the front elevation. And then if you look and at the plans, we just added a door into that kitchen there, but at the top of the sheet on the right there. So, I mean, I think the most important aspect is the elevations here, matching the existing vinyl with white trim and a nice little awning with architectural shingles on it and an arch with a small deck with railing down to the sidewalk. And I feel like this answers the issues that you had originally with the idea of not having any type of front door to the street. So yeah, if you want to look back into our original, that's kind of our old plans. That's in the very beginning. I think we had some some renderings and stuff. Yeah, okay, there. So that left-hand one with the bottom window is where that door is gonna go. I just didn't redo all these renderings.
We understand materially.
But this is basically what it's gonna look like,
Sure.
and we're happy to do it to keep moving this project forward.
Guys, any comments?
Well, I appreciate the addition to the door, and I do think it makes a difference. And can you just explain the sidewalk pattern, because I'm not sure we can see it.
Yeah, I mean, let me go back to the one I submitted earlier with the site plan, et cetera. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I think you were there.
Just there,
You were there.
whatever it was. It's
I think the revised.
the newest
revised
site
drawing.
plan,
Yep.
right there.
Yeah.
If you zoom in towards the site
Oh,
plan
okay.
there. So, yeah, with a new little deck down, is gonna have a little sidewalk going towards the asphalt driveway there on the
Okay.
left. And of course, the sidewalk on the far left is going from that deck out to the street. You know, in case it is a dead end street, I'm sure people are gonna park on the street. So we wanted to make sure that there was, and then the back sidewalk goes for the upper, it goes to the stairs.
Right.
And
It's almost
such.
So this is Hill Street here,
Yes,
right,
that's
across the
correct, the
top.
dead end
This is
street.
facing the
The
river.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You mentioned a back, there's a sidewalk between the driveway and the rear of
At the very bottom, if you, yeah, right down here, that goes down from that one.
Oh, I see.
Down to the units, and y'all asked to have, to identify which, parking spaces for each unit, so we did that, and of course, we'll have that on when we actually do the project also, so.
And I guess this will require a zoning variance for the front door. Was that something, did I understand that correctly?
We have zoning variances already granted on the right in our schedule. I can't even see it anymore, so.
You zoom back down.
uh,
Oh, you're looking.
Are you looking here?
So we have a lot of
Yeah.
variance that was granted on, for the ZBA meeting. Variance requested 2380, then we had a 11-foot variance requested for the lot width, in which we achieved that same time, and then we had a front variance of 18 feet that we requested and was granted, so all of this has been.
Is your question, does the
Yeah,
addition of a
the
door
additional-
create?
that additional stair, I was under the understanding that was gonna require, I don't know if anybody else in the call can correct me on that.
Now that they changed, I believe the stair to the front, they need a variance for that now too.
It'll be an amended front yard setback variance. The zoning board previously granted a front yard setback variance for the front of the house, but since the stairs encroach further into the front yard, they'll have to get an amendment. Which the zoning board frankly sees as variance all the time. I don't see this being an issue.
And that could be a condition of our approval, right? We don't need to. look at it.
Absolutely.
So now we need to go back to zoning.
That's what they were saying.
But it's an amendment to the existing front yard setback variance.
And I think council can speak to this a little bit. I know Taryn just mentioned it. This is something that the zoning board sees practically at every meeting. So I understand from your perspective, it's one more hoop to jump through, and I appreciate that. But I think the risk of it not being quickly adopted is slim to none. Is that right, Taryn?
Absolutely correct.
All right.
Okay. Any other questions from the planning board? Yeah. All right, we have a motion to reopen the public hearing on the application.
Eric Talbot, I make a motion to reopen the public hearing.
Second motion.
All right, any objections? I don't see anybody. Make a note, there's nobody in the room. Is there anybody on Zoom? There are no attendees in the room, so there's nobody here to speak to the application. Can I have a motion to close the application, the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Michael Aronson, second.
Any objections to that? There are none. Can I have a motion to approve the application with I guess, just the zoning condition.
Eric, how I make a motion to approve the application with the condition that the applicant return to the ZBA for an amendment to the front yard setback.
Carnegie, second the motion.
And the roll call.
Michael Aronson,
Aye.
Eric Talbot,
Aye.
Polly Kirsten.
Aye.
Carla Elliott.
Aye.
Chair Roy.
Aye. Very good. So I think we're good. I know you guys can get that amendment, but other than that, we're
Right.
in place. Thank you very much.
Do they have to reapply or are they a referral or how does that work with
That is a question for Valerie and Joe. So how do we get these folks back on the zoning board agenda? Does it require another application? I think no.
We've treated this as an amendment to an existing application because it is that same front yard setback that's being amended. So I know Jamie and I have handled a couple of these in the past, so we can touch base on that off this call.
I don't know, guess Taryn, if they have to renotice or it's because we just noticed the variance itself, front yard, but not necessarily what the variance request is, whether it's 10 feet or 15 feet.
I mean,
I
they'll
don't
have
know
to
if it has to
submit.
be renoticed.
I mean, it'll have to be noticed, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, we do have one more item on the agenda. Finishing with the first thing. So this is a additional business. It is the Board of Trustees is looking for a recommendation related to zoning changes, which are in turn related to cannabis retail. So is this Taryn or Valerie? Are you gonna, who wants to carry?
Valerie.
This is Valerie. Sorry, Taryn.
No, I think,
Hi,
well,
Irene.
Taryn can, no, because Taryn is a little bit, is not a little bit, she is the cannabis expert.
Thanks, Valerie. This is only recorded on Zoom, it's fine.
Right. No, she's actually been very, she's been helping a lot with the, with checking what it is that we're looking at doing with the state regulations and a lot of the case law that's coming from the state regulations. So I'll just kind of give, I think this board has already saw the first version of this. We are still proposing pretty much the same requirements as identified previously when we talked to the board, which very much reflected how we've handled or how this board has handled prior cannabis regulations. There's a couple things that the village is looking to do to regulate not only adult use cannabis, but also vape shops and smoke shops. And we are proposing to have the same setbacks for vape shops and smoke shops as the adult use cannabis. One of the things that we are proposing to do as part of this is specifically regulate the zoning districts in which cannabis can be adult use cannabis can be basically petitioned for and approved for, and those particular zoning districts, we are proposing to allow those in the ones that already have adult use cannabis, which is like the NC1, NC2, and the Station Plaza North. But we are also identifying all other zoning districts along Route 9 corridor as being permissible for the for cannabis retail, as well as the waterfront districts. But there are a couple districts that we're proposing not to include those in, and that's the Conservation Development District, Office and Research, the Village Center, and the Planned Waterfront C, which is the location of 34 State Street, as well as the Ossining Children's Center.
And I just want to note, we really had to think long and hard about where it makes sense to place cannabis dispensaries because they are considered a retail use, and we've been tracking litigation, and there is a recent court case that says, essentially, if it's a violation of the cannabis law to restrict dispensaries to a very limited number of zoning districts. So we thought about where else this would be appropriate, and we expanded the permitted locations accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Route 9, so I mean, it's Route 9 and then Sorry, we're also looking at vape shops as the same.
So it's mostly Route 9, the waterfront, as well as it's also allowing it in some of the other NC1, NC2 districts, which are some of the other districts along Croton Avenue.
Got it. Yeah, any feedback on that from this board? Yeah, I think those are the two corridors that makes sense. And I guess they encompass a lot of the different, several different zoning districts, so makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
And what's the reference to the youth facilities?
Right. So the cannabis law sets very specific distance requirements from certain sensitive uses like schools and houses of worship. And the cannabis law provides that a municipality can adopt a 500-foot buffer from what are called public youth facilities. They are essentially facilities that are exclusively used for individuals under the age of 18. But in order for that to be effective, that has to be in a local law.
So this is that local law.
So this is that
Right.
local, this is that buffer.
So it's
But it
five-
does not include like community centers.
No.
So because
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to be exclusively used to serve youth. So this would apply to maybe a playground, but it wouldn't apply to like a community center that serves more than just minors.
What about a private daycare?
So daycares are regulated separately. They kind of fall under the school and nursery requirement under state law.
But I think certain daycares are considered commercial uses and those wouldn't fall under that. So you would have to be ones that are regulated by New York State Department of Education.
Exactly.
Got it. And that's all, and like as you're saying, that's all dictated in this New York State cannabis law, so that's not something that the village has any discretion over.
Yes, the cannabis law really only sets forth very specific categories the village can regulate, parking, hours of operation, noise, odor, traffic. Really beyond that, there's not much more that the village can do to regulate cannabis.
Right. But at the very end of it, because I know there were a couple other little pieces at the end.
From the definition section?
Yeah, not even from the definition section, just at the end of the it's towards the end, keep going through here.
Yeah, there's the vape and what have you definition.
Yeah, and vape and tobacco shops aren't subject to the same limitations that cannabis is subject to. You have a lot more control over vape and smoke shops.
I think there's language there just also about hours of operation and.
Oh, I'm sorry, the last.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
And I think, there's some language added. It looked like a lot of it was just from some of this was related to comments that we've wound up having on like opening plans and which
Right.
may or may not be relevant anymore. It seems like it's kind of come and gone, but yeah. Screening was another site plan related item which has come up here. Is that new from the prior law in terms of our ability to comment on screening of these properties?
I think we've always had screening proposed in the draft. I think we wordsmithed some of the language from shall to may to fit state law a little closer.
Right, but I think there's been some concerns that were brought up, especially with 345 North Highland. This board talked about a little bit about the screening, so we brought some of those items in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's helpful, I think. Yeah, vehicles and traffic. Yeah. It allows us to request a traffic plan if we needed to.
Right.
I have a question for you. This is a thought. I'm thinking about one of the neighborhood community centers, the one where we have our project, an ongoing project where we've been looking at the culvert for so long.
171.
Yeah, 171 Croton. So there is a playground not far from there. If you're allowing it in that district, but then if you were to draw the buffer, and I haven't drawn the buffer, I don't know, and then you have the playground there, but you're saying it's allowable. Have you guys looked at like the restrictions and then buffer the things in those particular zones to see like, is it even a
What properties would fall
possibility?
out?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, just curious because
Yes.
I never thought about the playground being like a youth facility, like it's yeah, so that was just an interesting, I mean, it makes sense that it would be considered in that law, but
Yeah, so that particular zoning district, that zoning district is in a couple different locations within the village. So with that particular one, it might be limited, a little bit more limited because of that playground. But there are other areas, there are specifically other areas within the village where it would, where the NC, I think that's NC1, so NC1 would be allowed. There's really only there's only a handful of playgrounds within the village where this would fall into place. That is one of them, and then probably the one along down by Nelson Park. There's a playground specifically on its own. That would fall into it. The other areas where there are playgrounds, there's actually fields and other types of amenities that it's not just for focused on kids less than 18 years of age.
got it. All right. Thank you.
And just for the board's own edification, proximity gets raised very, very early on in the process. Once an applicant applies for a cannabis license, the village receives notification of the proposed location, at which point the village board can provide a municipal opinion letter to the state cannabis control board. So at that point, if there is a sensitive structure within proximity to the proposed dispensary, that's when those concerns will be raised to the state.
Okay.
So that wouldn't come before this board necessarily.
By the time it comes to us, it's a site plan review effectively.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, very good. Okay. Thank you, Taryn. All right.
Any other kind of thoughts on this, guys? And we've been through it before. I think it seems straightforward. I think these make sense.
I mean, what's involved in us referring it to the DOT, just basically saying we're comfortable with the revised language?
yeah, and anything additional you think that they might consider.
Yeah, no, I don't know that I have anything else that we would want to add.
I just wanted to, sorry, Taryn, Joe, Tony, Valerie,
Okay.
Jamie. So this map, actually, Taryn, clued me into. This is super helpful and I can send the link around, but you can sort of toggle, a lot of things on and off here, including, what is considered by the state to be a child, a school, and what is a house of worship. So if I could figure out very quickly how to do that, Taryn, do you know?
I think if you hit filter,
No.
Medical.
Well,
Yeah, the Prox
You know-
report.
yeah.
Rocks.
Or if you zoom in on a location, the map will zoom in and show you the different uses in the area. It'll show you if there's a public use or if there's a
There we go. Okay.
there you go, house of worship.
House of worship.
Just so everyone knows, I complained to the state about this map because it's not updated as often as they say it is updated. So sometimes there are houses of worship missing if one's opened relatively recently, just so everyone knows. I've yelled to the state about that a couple
So you
times.
see, the schools are quite limited, right? I mean, this
Yeah.
is high school here, right?
Yeah,
It's a
that's
strange
high
place
school.
to have.
Just that little
At the entrance to that one parking
Yeah.
lot there.
And few and far between.
Yeah.
There's AMD in Claremont. Roosevelt School,
The hands.
Yeah.
A lot of hands.
Park
A lot of
School.
hands,
Hands
yeah.
up,
Yeah.
ready to clap.
And the buffers are very tightly defined. It's 500 feet from the entrance, and entrance is defined specifically, so it's not just a 500-foot buffer from the property line as a whole. It's from the actual entrance to the school.
And on the same road or
And
something like
honestly,
that.
yeah, it's a nightmare to get your head around.
Right, but that's nothing we will ever actually have to consider.
Correct.
Got it. Sorry to get caught.
Decision has been made.
Right.
Go into the
Which
weeds.
is, I mean, which is helpful for this board, which, I mean, it would just come up in all these reviews.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
I think that's I love maps and that's a fun one.
Back a weed is the shot.
All right, guys. All right, so I guess, Valerie, you have what you need from us just to go back. To
Yes,
Perfect.
I do.
We don't need to, we don't, no motions on this. This is just a guidance from our board to theirs. All right, can I have a motion? I think we're good. Anything else adjourned that we should be talking about? I know, I kind of, we've got a manageable list at this point, so. Anything on the adjourned list that we should be talking about today?
217 Main and 171 Cloten Avenue are waiting for direction from the Board of Trustees about payment in lieu of taxes. They went and presented and the board wanted to chew on it and get some recommendations from the consultant team. And 59 Dale, I know has been in touch with Joe somewhat recently about their roof replacement.
Okay, I mean, that's been a little while, right, since we saw that.
And again, for those who missed it, 34 State Street, asked this afternoon to be adjourned for the February joint meeting.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, from Valerie's perspective, that probably the best time for HPC to vote would be at the next joint meeting, as opposed to their meeting on Monday regarding the, infill building on
Got it.
Main Street.
Got it. All right,
I will
that's
let
fine.
the chair and the HPC know that I was incorrect.
All good. It's good to know that.
Well, I
happen.
think for a couple reasons. One, I mean, Jamie mentioned, potentially having to advertise that clearly for their agenda, but then also, I think the other, you still might make modifications, right? Or there could be modifications to that building, and any modification would then require them to go back to the HPC. So we might as well wait until the site plan is really set, because there are still a lot of open-ended issues with the site plan at this point. And then once that's finalized, then because HPC can vote. I mean, they can't move forward with the application until they get their zoning variances. The village board approves the payment in lieu of parking, and also ultimately like the right of way encroachments. And then this board needs to approve the site plan as well.
No rush on it, in other words.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, makes sense. All right, guys. I think that covers it. Do you have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Michael Aronson, motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thurston, second motion.
Any objections? Thanks, guys, very much.
Thanks, Valerie, Taryn,
Thank you,
Jamie,
guys.
Joe, Tony.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a good night.